And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Oneida County Sheriff Rob Maciol is our guest, and we're talking about a variety of things, including 4th of July. And a good segue there, Sheriff, is from the fireworks to lake patrols.
Yes.
And the Oneida County Sheriff's Office has snowmobile patrol, and they have a lake patrol.
We have several boats and jet skis also for patrolling. Well, we have 6 waterways in Oneida County. Obviously, our biggest is Oneida Lake. Next in line would be Delta Lake, and then we have some smaller lakes, whether we're talking Cayuta, White, Otter, Mohawk River, Barge Canal. So we have several waterways. Like I said, obviously most of our resources focus on Sylvan Beach area, Oneida Lake. And unfortunately, we did already have an accident. Luckily, no one was seriously injured. Could have been tragic, but at the same time could have been 100% prevented. Again, people have to focus when they're driving. You can't be distracted. Driving a boat, just like you can't be distracted when you're operating a vehicle. But we had a case where a boat containing fishermen, bothering nobody except just having a good time fishing, and their boat was basically driven over by another boat who was distracted because of a child in their boat. Mm-hmm. And so again, we want people to give yourself enough room. Make sure you're showing courtesy and respect to the other boaters. There's not a set of double solid lines in the middle of the lake where people can pass. When you're taking over another boat, watch your wake. But probably the 2 most important things we can't stress enough about boater safety, first and foremost, life jackets. By law, you have to have a life jacket for every person on that vessel. So if you've got 10 people on your party barge, you better have 10 life jackets on there. The only ones that have to wear them are the children. The adults don't have to wear them. We recommend that everyone does. But again, if you've got 10 people on that boat, you have to have 10 life jackets. You've also got to have a throwable device. That's a flotation device. So if someone is in the water in distress, you're able to throw it to them. And those are the basic requirements. That's where all the boating accidents that I've dealt with in the 9 years that I've been the sheriff, especially the fatals, nearly all of them have died from drowning. So again, sure, they might have been injured from the impact of the crash, or there might have been a couple other factors, but they probably wouldn't have died because they all died from drowning and because they were not wearing life jackets.
What about drinking in boating?
Not tolerated here in Oneida County, nor is it tolerated anywhere. Boating while intoxicated, and that was the second point I was going to mention. First and foremost is the life jackets. Secondly, boating while intoxicated. Obviously, you're not getting the charge is not going on your driver's license for a motor vehicle, but it will catch up when it makes its way through the system because you're charged under Parks and Recreation law, not the New York State Vehicle and Traffic law. But again, we have a 0 tolerance for that. And again, another major cause for crashes on vessels is boating while intoxicated.
It's it's a common. I'm not a boater myself, but it's a common thing. You go out on the lake, you're in the boat,
summer day,
you have a couple
drinks,
beers,
and that's part of the problem. That between the sun and the sunburn and all the other things happening on the boat, having a good time, people aren't realizing that 1 beer just became 3 beers and then 5 beers, and before you know it, it hits you like a hammer on the top of the head. Now that you're intoxicated, and no one else knows how to operate that vessel, and again, it's the recipe for disaster. It's just so. If you're going to be the one operating the vessel, the only thing we please ask is just don't make drinking part of your day.
The Oneida Lake, you said you throw much of your resources there,
yes,
because of all the activity. How do you do the other lakes and waterways?
We
just by chance?
We dock a couple of boats at Oneida Lake, and obviously have jet skis on trailers. We also dock a boat at Delta Lake because it's our second busiest. And then we have a host of other boats that are on trailers and logistically, and they're placed logistically around the area so we can get to whichever waterway we need to as soon as possible. There's a couple small lakes that we rarely get to that some people in the county don't even know exist. Yeah. We've got a couple small ones up in Forestport. Buck Lake, it's up north of Boonville.
I know it.
Nice small lake. Again, we occasionally get complaints up there of other folks, speeding or whatnot, and so we're all over. The problem is, like with any other thing, there's all kinds of events happening every single weekend, and we try to be everywhere, but obviously we can't always be everywhere at the same time. We do the best we can, And we have an awesome crew of dedicated men and women who, like I said, they make it happen. And we're just blessed to have some amazing people working for us.
Talking about events that are happening, because we have not the biggest window of opportunity with our weather here, so you get a compressed...
A lot going on each weekend.
Including, it's right around the corner, the Boonville Oneida County Fair. You throw a lot of resources up there.
We do. Boonville Fair is a big event for the whole county. Obviously, it's a great family event. We have a booth up there. This year we're expanding a little bit more. In addition to our regular booth, we're also going to be doing a couple seminars on farm safety because, again, we deal a lot with rural issues. And the one thing we try to stress to people, you know, we got this request from many farmers in Oneida County. The slow-moving vehicle emblem that goes on the back of farm equipment. You know, farmers are required by law to have
the
that.
Triangle,
the orange triangle. It's called an SMV, slow-moving vehicle emblem. That has to be on all farm equipment, and it has to be there for a reason. But the problem is regular people are buying these SMV signs. They're actually placing them on their mailboxes, or they're using them for driveway markers. That's against the law, but the reason that's against the law is because it's taking away from its purpose. If you start seeing them on mailbox posts and driveway markers, and when you see it on the back of a tractor or a hay wagon, it's going to have no impact. You know, so we're doing a big push on that. We did something in the spring on that. We're going to be doing that at the Boonville Fair. Other farm safety issues we're going to be talking about. But it's a great event, and it's a great opportunity for us to build our relationship with the community.
What about the horse and wagons? You see a lot of them in Oneida County. Are they required?
A lot of Amish, yes.
A lot of Amish. Are they required to have those on their wagons?
They have two options for horse-drawn equipment. Number one is they either can have the slow-moving emblem, the orange triangle. Their only other option, if they don't have that, they have to have a lantern hanging on if you're looking at the back of the buggy, on the left side of the buggy, that has to be lit even day or night. That lantern has to be lit, and there's got to be 72 inches of reflective DOT-approved tape basically on the outline of the back of the buggy. So they've either got to have the triangle, the SMV symbol, or the lit lantern with the reflective tape. Now, you will see a lot of Amish folks who don't have anything, or maybe we'll just have the tape and not the lantern. So we've had a big push trying to educate the Amish community. Obviously, I'd give them a message through this outlet if I could, but they don't watch TV. So we do a lot of on-farm visits with them. We are currently, we have a committee of county officials because there's a lot of areas that they need to be educated in and brought up to speed as to what our laws are. So whether we're talking law enforcement issues like this or health department issues or various things, we actually have a committee that puts a packet together, and they're delivered to the Amish families in the community. You know, so it's not that they're refusing to comply. You know, a lot of them don't know our laws, and I mean, a lot of them are good people. They work hard in the community. They pay their taxes. A lot of people don't think they pay taxes, but they do, and they do support a lot of local businesses. But again, there are people who do get frustrated with them because of, you know, I mean, we get complaints of horse manure dropped in the road from the buggies, from the horses. But that's a tough one because agriculture is our #1 industry in this county. And if we're going to be enforcing Amish horses dropping manure in the road, then I'd be forced to have to do that to the farmers with their traditional manure. And it's a balancing act to try to, you know, enforce the law, and at the same time, we don't want to hinder our biggest industry in the county.
Gotcha. Oneida County Sheriff Rob Maciol's our guest. Short break, right back.